Obsessive-compulsive disorder, OCD. You've probably left the house and gone back to make sure the door was locked. That's normal. But imagine going back once, then twice, then 5 times. And every time you say, "I'm done," an internal voice says, "Maybe you didn't lock it right." This is the door through which OCD enters. It starts with an intrusive, disturbing thought. Contamination, illness, fire, the door, a wrong word, a scary image, or the fear of hurting someone even though you'd never want to. The thought is unwanted, but the feeling that comes with it is overpowering. The brain treats it like an emergency alarm that must be silenced. This is where compulsions come in. Washing hands, checking, counting, organizing, repeating a phrase, touching something a certain number of times, or repeating a movement until the anxiety subsides. Scientifically, OCD is linked to brain circuits responsible for danger, doubt, and repetition. It's as if the brain can't send the "it's over" signal. The person knows that checking 10 times is illogical, but their body isn't convinced. The relief after the act is short-lived, then the doubt returns even stronger. People joke and say, "I'm so OCD" because they like things tidy, but real OCD steals your time and peace. It can take hours of your day, make your hands bleed from washing, and make leaving the house a battle. Depression. Have you ever had one of those days where you wake up after sleeping for hours, yet your body feels like it hasn't rested at all? You try to watch something you used to love, but it doesn't spark anything inside you. You eat your favorite meal, but it tastes like nothing. You open your phone and close it immediately, because even replying to people feels like it requires an immense amount of energy. This is the closest face of depression to most people. Depression isn't always obvious sadness or constant crying. Sometimes it's a heavy, hollow emptiness. It's as if your brain turned down the volume on everything in life. Scientifically, depression is linked to how the brain handles chemicals like serotonin and dopamine, substances responsible for mood, pleasure, motivation, and the sense of reward. When this system gets disrupted, the simplest things become the hardest. Getting out of bed, showering, eating, focusing, or even talking to someone you love. A person might withdraw from others not because they hate them, but because they simply don't have the energy to pretend they are okay. They might sleep too much, or not at all, overeat, or lose their appetite, think slowly, or feel like their thoughts are crushing them all day long. The real problem is that depression speaks in a very convincing voice. It tells you this is who you are forever. You won't get better. People are getting tired of you, and that joy you used to feel, that's over. Over time, you start believing these words because they're coming from inside your own head, not from a stranger. ADHD. Have you ever sat down to start a simple task, knowing it's important and knowing you must start, but your body simply refuses to move? Then you open something else, and suddenly an hour has passed. Just a minute, you said. This is the reality of ADHD for many. The problem isn't that the person can't focus at all. In fact, that same person can enter hyper-focus on a game, a project, a video, or a topic they love, losing all track of time. The issue is they can't choose what to focus on when they need to. The ADHD brain handles dopamine differently, especially in areas responsible for planning, impulse control, and time management, like the prefrontal cortex. That's why boring tasks feel like a brick wall, while stimulating things pull their attention like a magnet. They forget appointments, lose their belongings, leave projects half-finished, interrupt others, and run late. Even if they started getting ready early, they perceive time strangely. 10 minutes in their head might actually be an hour in reality. At school or work, they hear words like lazy, careless, or uninterested, even though on the inside, they are trying with all their might to hold their day together. The hardest part is seeing the gap right in front of them. They know the solution, they know the steps, but they feel like there's a distance between intention and execution that they just can't explain to anyone. Pause for a moment. If you've made it this far, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to the channel so we can keep providing better content. Let's continue. Generalized Anxiety Disorder, GAD. Imagine having an alarm clock inside your head. But it doesn't just ring when there's danger, it rings all day long. A text you haven't replied to, An appointment a week away, a word you said yesterday, an upcoming bill, the way someone looked at you in a meeting. Everything opens a door to a new what if. This is what happens in GAD. Normal anxiety comes with a clear reason and leaves once the issue is resolved. But here, the mind keeps searching for problems even when there are none. Scientifically, the nervous system treats daily expectations as threats, releasing stress hormones. This leads to symptoms like muscle tension, stomach aches, headaches, heart palpitations, fatigue, and chest tightness. A person doesn't overthink because they enjoy it. They are stuck in a loop of anticipation. They send a message and review it 10 times. They leave a normal situation and replay every word they said. They make a simple decision and then start questioning, what if this happens? What if they misunderstood me? What if I chose wrong? Eventually, they start avoiding things just to find peace. A call, an outing, a meeting, or even a simple discussion. Relief comes for a moment, but the anxiety grows because the brain learns that escaping is the only solution. In the end, the person is exhausted, not from the events themselves, but from the thousands of scenarios they lived through before they even happened. Bipolar disorder. Have you ever seen someone suddenly become bursting with energy? They sleep for 2 hours and wake up as if they're fully charged. They talk fast, start a dozen projects, spend money, and feel like ideas are pouring into them without stop. Then, after a while, they crash completely. They can't get up and see no meaning in the things they were just excited about. This is bipolar disorder. It involves distinct mood episodes between mania or hypomania and depression. During mania, the brain enters a state of high energy and extreme confidence. Sleep decreases without feeling tired, thoughts race, and risky decisions seem brilliant in the moment. They might start a business on a whim, travel without a plan, or spend more than they have. Sometimes mania turns into irritability or unrealistic thoughts. Then comes the low episode. The same person who felt they could do anything now can't even answer a phone call. Scientifically, it's linked to changes in mood, energy, and sleep regulation in the brain, with a strong genetic component. Sleep is crucial here, because pulling all-nighters or stress can trigger a new episode. What exhausts the person isn't just the mood, but the aftermath. Debts, damaged relationships, and people around them not understanding how they can change so drastically. Post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD. Imagine a terrifying situation that ended years ago, but your body never got the memo. You hear a certain sound, smell a scent, or see a place, and suddenly your heart races, as if you're back in that exact moment. This is PTSD. The trauma could be an accident, violence, war, assault, a sudden loss, or any moment where someone felt their life or hopes were collapsing. Normally, the brain stores memories as the past. In PTSD, the memory stays too close, like a file that's open all the time. The amygdala, the part of the brain responsible for fear, stays hypersensitive. The body enters survival mode instantly. Flashbacks aren't just remembering, they are a sensory experience. Sweat, shaking, terror, and vivid images. Sleep is haunted by nightmares, and being awake is exhausting because the person is constantly scanning for danger. They sit near the exit, get startled by loud noises, hate crowds, and avoid certain roads or people that remind them of the event. Sometimes they become irritable, other times cold and detached, as if they are far away from themselves. People say, "You've changed," and they have, because after trauma, the brain prioritizes survival over comfort, even in safe places. Social anxiety. You're in a gathering, majlis, or a hall, and you feel like everyone is focused on you, even if no one said a word. You hold a cup and feel your hand shaking. You start to speak, and your voice sounds weaker than usual. Then, you spend hours replaying the situation in your head. This is social anxiety. It's not about hating people, nor is it about arrogance or a weak personality. The brain treats social evaluation as a threat. Before the event, the questions start. What do I say? What if I freeze? What if I blush? What if they laugh? During the event, the body enters a stress state. Palpitations, sweating, dry throat, and distraction. The person becomes obsessed with monitoring themselves instead of living the conversation. They listen to their own voice, notice their eyes, calculate where their hands are, and see every glance from others as a judgment. After the encounter, the review begins. A normal word becomes a huge mistake. A moment of silence becomes proof that people were bored. Scientifically, it's linked to high sensitivity toward rejection and a strong fear response in social settings. Over time, they start avoiding presentations, calls, and events. This relieves anxiety momentarily, but makes the next time even harder. Panic disorder. Have you ever had sudden heart palpitations, felt your chest tighten and thought, maybe it's my heart, maybe I'm dying? A panic attack works like that, but it's stronger and faster. The body triggers a full fear alarm without an obvious threat. The amygdala activates the fight or flight response, releasing adrenaline. Your pulse spikes, your breathing changes, your hands go numb, you feel dizzy, and you break into a sweat. The problem is that the person interprets these symptoms as proof of a catastrophe, which increases the fear, and the fear in turn increases the symptoms. The attack usually peaks within minutes, but inside, it feels like time has stopped. After the first strong attack, a new fear begins. When will it happen again? The person starts monitoring their body constantly. Any slight change in heart rate, any lightheadedness, any shortness of breath becomes a potential start. Then comes the avoidance. Malls, cars, planes, elevators, crowded mosques, lectures, highways. Anywhere that's hard to leave quickly becomes a source of anxiety. Many go to the ER multiple times only for the tests to come back clear. Yet, the feeling doesn't go away because the physical experience was real. A panic attack won't kill you, but in the moment, it convinces you the end is near. Eating disorders. For some, a meal turns from something natural into a long calculation. How many calories? How much weight did I gain? Do I deserve to eat? Do I need to compensate? In anorexia nervosa, a person restricts their food dangerously due to an intense fear of weight gain and a distorted body image. Even if they become very thin, the mirror doesn't show them what others see. Hunger might give them a sense of control, and every lost pound feels like an achievement. In bulimia, there are episodes of binge eating in secret, followed by intense guilt and an attempt to get rid of the food through purging, excessive exercise, or other harmful ways. In binge eating disorder, the person eats large amounts with a sense of loss of control, followed by heavy shame and regret. Scientifically, these disorders involve psychological, biological, and social factors: anxiety, perfectionism, trauma, body image pressure, and family history. The body suffers immensely. The heart weakens, electrolytes get imbalanced, bones thin, and hormones change. People see the plate, but the real battle is in the head, before, during, and after eating. Schizophrenia. Imagine hearing a clear, close voice commenting on you, threatening you, or giving you orders, while people around you say there's no one there, or feeling that normal signs on TV or in the street are messages meant specifically for you. Schizophrenia affects how the brain perceives reality and organizes thoughts. Positive symptoms, those that add to the experience, include hallucinations and delusions. Hallucinations can be sounds, images, or sensations. Delusions are strong beliefs that the person feels are real, like being watched, or that people are conspiring against them. These aren't imagination. The brain presents them as reality. There are also negative symptoms that take away from the person: lack of facial expression, low motivation, isolation, and difficulty organizing speech. Scientifically, it's related to imbalances in systems like dopamine, along with genetic and environmental factors. Movies have often distorted its image, linking it to violence, even though many sufferers are more prone to fear, isolation, and being exploited than being a danger to others. Borderline personality disorder, BPD. Have you ever felt like a text left on read ruined your entire day? For someone with BPD, seemingly small things can hit the deepest place of fear. Emotions here don't come in medium doses. Sadness feels like a collapse, anger feels like a fire, and the fear of abandonment feels like an immediate life-threatening danger. The person may love intensely and attach quickly, But if they feel the other person has changed or distanced themselves, they spiral. They might send too many messages, get angry, withdraw, test the relationship, or say things they later regret. Thinking becomes black and white. The other person is either perfect or a villain, and I am either very important or worthless. Scientifically, the disorder is linked to difficulty in regulating emotions, often appearing alongside a history of trauma or unstable environments. Even their identity can feel fluid. One goal today, another tomorrow. One look today, a different persona tomorrow. Because the person is trying to hold on to a stable image of themselves amidst powerful emotional waves. Conclusion. We've reached the end of the video. Mental disorders aren't something we can summarize in one word or judge from afar. Every disorder carries its own experience, suffering, and impact on a person's life. If you felt that any of this sounds like you or someone close to you, take it seriously. Seek help from a professional or someone you trust. See you soon in a new video. Stay safe.